The truth is, a bad thing can happen. Bad things can happen anytime, any place in America. No one can be assured that they're safe.
We often hear that the NRA and other groups say it takes a good guy with a gun to stop a bad guy with a gun. What does that mean?
It basically means that there are times, emergencies, where first responders don't get there in time. I think sometimes you need an instant responder. You need somebody who's going to be there, the victim, when the crime occurs, to prevent it from happening.
Can you understand why a lot of people feel that more good guys with guns is just going to put more guns out there and make the world a more dangerous place for everyone?
I don't understand that thinking, although I suspect it has a lot to do with people just not being very well educated about firearms and firearms ownership. It takes an operator, a human being, to pull the trigger before the gun, fires. The more they learn, the safer they feel, and the more they realize what a great tool a firearm can be for self-protection.
What's wrong with tightening up some of the loopholes that make it easy for people to get guns without really going through background checks?
Well, first of all, I don't think there's such a thing as loopholes. The laws are the laws.
What about specifically making it illegal to sell a gun at a gun show without a background check?
You're talking about by a private citizen.
Right.
The problem with saying that everyone has to go through, or private sales have to go through a background check, is you're talking about private sales between neighbors. You're talking about private sales between family members.
And private sales at gun shows.
Let me kind of make it clear. If someone is a dealer, if someone is buying and selling for a profit, they are required by federal law to get a license. But the problem is a lot of times you'll have like an older gentleman who wants to liquidate his collection, maybe for his retirement, or he wants to get rid of a few firearms. Those people should not be required to do background checks.
A recent CBS News poll found that 54% of all Americans believe that gun control laws should be made more strict, and 88% support a federal law requiring background checks on all potential gun buyers. What do you think when you hear that?
I don't believe that poll. I just
don't
don't
believe
believe
that
it. No,
poll?
I don't believe the poll. I think a lot depends on how you ask the question, who gets polled, what the sample is. What I believe is that people in America believe that there are enough laws on the books relating to guns. What we need is better enforcement of those laws.
Does it make any sense to you to ban people who are on the terrorist watch list from getting guns, period?
I guess I have a problem from a constitutional standpoint about a list that's secret, that people don't know if they're even on the list. There's no way to get off the list if you think you're on the list mistakenly. So I think that whole idea needs a lot more examination before you can really come up with whether or not something would be an effective way to fight crime.
For a short period, the U.S. had a ban on assault weapons. Why not reinstate the ban on assault weapons?
Because it wasn't effective and it didn't work. When it was enacted in 1994, it was enacted for 10 years, and it sunsetted in 2004. It evaporated, basically. And there were attempts after that to put it back on the books, and those failed in Congress. And I think the reason they failed was because our elected officials and the American people know that it doesn't work, that kind of a ban doesn't work.
Not because the elected officials were afraid of the NRA coming after them.
No, they're given information, they're given factual information, they have their own staffs to double check that information and to see if it's accurate or not.
The NRA seems to be trying to tell people that there could be a wholesale government effort to take away their guns. Do you really believe that?
You're asking me to predict the future. All I can tell you is about the past. After Hurricane Katrina, the New Orleans Police Department went door to door and asked law-abiding, peaceable people who had not committed any crimes to give up their guns. So yes, it can happen. And I think that people are understandably worried about that possibility.
The NRA seems to spend millions of dollars lobbying and electing people who really try to stop any new gun control laws from coming into effect. Why has that been such a priority over the years?
I think the NRA believes in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and especially the Second Amendment. That is our focus. That is really our sole focus. One of the things that's made NRA so effective is that we are very narrowly directed at the goal we want to accomplish, is to preserve that right of law-abiding citizens. And so you say we elect people who want to stop gun control. I say we elect people who want to support the Constitution and the constitutional rights of our members to keep and own firearms.